Every single morning is a doorway. The moment your alarm goes off, you're standing at the entrance to a new reality. You have two choices: roll over, hit snooze, and let the day control you, or rise with power, step forward, and control the day yourself. Waking up early isn't just about time, it's about ownership. It's about deciding that your life is too valuable to waste on autopilot. The early hours are sacred, quiet, clear, and full of potential. They're the hours where champions are built, where dreams get organized, where discipline transforms into destiny. When you rise early, something extraordinary begins to happen within you. It's not just about setting your alarm clock earlier. It's about taking back control over the rhythm of your life. Momentum is not built in big, flashy moments. It starts quietly, in the darkness before dawn, when the world is still asleep. In that moment, when most people choose to roll over and escape into the comfort of another hour of sleep, you are making a different decision. You are deciding to set the pace, not follow it. You are choosing to create momentum before the day even starts. That single decision creates a ripple effect that impacts your entire day, week, month, and eventually your life. Think about the typical day for most people. They wake up late, already behind schedule, rushing to get ready, gulping down coffee, stuck in traffic, scrolling through their phones while half awake, trying to catch up with the demands that were waiting for them. They begin their day on defense. Their mood is shaped by the urgency of tasks, by notifications, by noise. But when you wake up early, you flip the script. You give yourself space to breathe, to prepare, to build energy, to sharpen your focus. You create momentum that carries you through every challenge ahead. You're no longer reacting, you're leading. Momentum is powerful because it compounds. Imagine pushing a heavy rock. At first, it's hard, slow, and requires effort. But once it starts rolling, it gathers speed, strength, and force. Your morning is that first push. By getting up early, you give yourself the gift of time to align your thoughts, organize your priorities, and take deliberate actions that set that rock into motion. By the time the world is still waking up, you've already built the energy and clarity that makes everything else easier to conquer. The early hours create an environment where discipline thrives. There are fewer distractions, fewer interruptions, and fewer excuses. The mind is more focused, and the body is more willing to listen. You have a window of opportunity to start stacking wins. Maybe it's exercising, meditating, journaling, reading, strategizing, or simply sitting in silence reflecting on what matters most. Each small action you take early in the morning builds momentum. That momentum doesn't fade when the sun rises. It carries into your work, your relationships, your mindset, and your performance. Consider the psychological effect of starting your day with an early victory. The moment you get out of bed, even when you didn't feel like it, you've already won your first battle. That act alone sends a powerful message to your brain: I lead my life, not my comfort. It boosts your confidence, your mood, and your sense of control. And when you stack more wins, completing a workout, organizing your priorities, finishing an important task, you're no longer stumbling through your day, you're charging through it with strength. Momentum also influences how you handle challenges. When you start late, every problem feels bigger. Small obstacles feel like mountains because your mind isn't prepared, your body is sluggish, and your emotions are reactive. But when you rise early and build momentum, you're already mentally sharp, physically energized, and emotionally grounded. Challenges don't break your rhythm, they fuel it. You respond with clarity and power rather than panic or stress. There's also something special about the stillness of early morning. The world hasn't started pulling at you yet. No one's demanding your attention. Notifications aren't flooding in. It's just you and the silence. In that space, you can think deeper, plan smarter, and act with purpose. That clarity allows you to set intentions for the day rather than drift through it. When your mind is calm, decisions become sharper, creativity flows more freely, and problems are solved with ease. This is the momentum you carry into every meeting, every conversation, every task. Starting early also gives you the power to prioritize what truly matters before the chaos begins. Once the day starts, life throws distractions your way: calls, emails, messages, unexpected problems. But if you've already invested time into your goals early on, you've ensured that your priorities are protected. You're not trying to fit them in between other people's demands. You've already built your foundation. That's how momentum protects your vision. Another critical piece of momentum is emotional state. How you feel in the first hours of the day affects how you feel for the rest of it. If you wake up rushing, frustrated, tired, and reactive, it lingers. It shows up in your interactions, your work, your focus, and even your posture. But if you wake up early and use that time to center yourself, breathe, and set your intentions, you carry a different energy into the day. You become grounded, confident, and ready to lead. Momentum doesn't just move your actions, it moves your emotions. It's easy to underestimate the power of these small morning habits. Many people think, what difference does an hour make? The truth is, that hour is everything. It's the hour that separates you from the masses who sleep through their potential. It's the hour that decides whether your day happens to you or you happen to your day. It's the hour that shapes the quality of your thoughts, your productivity, your discipline, and your destiny. When you win the morning, you win the day. And when you win the day, you win your life. Momentum also teaches you to trust yourself. Every time you wake up early and follow through on your commitment, you strengthen the belief that you keep your promises. You build self-respect and inner power. That trust is essential because it becomes the foundation for every goal you pursue. If you can't trust yourself to wake up when you said you would, how can you trust yourself to follow through on bigger dreams? Rising early isn't just about time, it's about identity. It's about becoming the kind of person who takes action even when it's uncomfortable. At first, waking up early might feel challenging. Your body may resist. Your mind may negotiate. Your comfort zone will whisper, just a little more sleep. But the moment you override that voice and get up, you're not just winning against sleep, you're winning against limitation. Over time, this becomes second nature. You'll begin to crave those early hours because they become the most productive, peaceful, and powerful part of your day. There's another advantage to momentum. It creates a domino effect in your habits. One disciplined action leads to another. Wake up early and you're more likely to exercise. Exercise, and you're more likely to eat well. Eat well, and you're more likely to think clearly. Think clearly, and you're more likely to take bold action. Momentum is contagious within your life. It spreads into everything you touch. This momentum doesn't just change your mornings, it changes your future. The extra time you spend working on your skills, your mindset, your health, or your goals compounds over weeks, months, and years. While others are snoozing through their dreams, you're building yours brick by brick. Success is never built in one dramatic leap. It's built in the quiet, consistent hours that no one sees. Early mornings are where that happens. Imagine looking back 1 year from now and realizing that every single morning you gave yourself that extra hour to push forward. That's hundreds of extra hours of progress. Hundreds of hours to think, plan, grow, and act. That kind of momentum can change careers, bodies, relationships, and entire lives. When you wake up early and start your day with intention, you are making a statement to yourself and to the world. You're saying, I'm not waiting for opportunities. I'm creating them. I'm not drifting, I'm driving. The early morning isn't just a time of day. It's a mindset. It's a decision to lead rather than follow, to build rather than react, to rise rather than settle. That decision is where momentum begins, and once it starts rolling, nothing can stop it. Discipline is the bridge between the life you want and the life you have, and waking up early is one of the purest forms of self-discipline. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, and no one is standing next to your bed applauding you for doing it. But that moment when your alarm goes off and you choose to rise is where mental strength is forged. The mind loves comfort. It loves to negotiate. It whispers, 5 more minutes. You deserve a break. Tomorrow will be better. But discipline doesn't entertain negotiations. It doesn't wait for motivation. It acts. Every time you rise early, you are training your mind to obey your higher goals instead of your temporary feelings. The morning is the first battleground of the day. It's where your mind either takes the lead or surrenders. When you wake up early, you are telling yourself, I lead this mind. I decide what happens. That simple act of getting up when you said you would create a deep psychological shift. It separates you from the majority who live by their moods and impulses. Discipline is not about being harsh. It's about taking responsibility for your direction. And the morning is the perfect training ground because no one else is watching. It's just you, your will, and your decision. Over time, these decisions shape your identity. Each early morning becomes a repetition, a mental weight lifted. Just like muscles grow through resistance, your mind grows through moments of disciplined action. The more you practice rising early, the stronger your mental resilience becomes. You no longer depend on feeling like it. You act because you said you would. That shift is the foundation of every great achievement. People often wait for motivation to hit before they act, but true power comes from acting despite not feeling ready. When you wake up early consistently, you are programming your mind to act on command, not on emotion. Think about how the first decision of the day impacts every other decision. If you give in to the comfort of sleep, your mind learns that it can overrule your goals. It learns that if it complains enough, you'll surrender. That's how procrastination grows stronger. But when you override the excuses and get up, your mind learns that discipline wins. It learns that you mean what you say. That mental victory carries into everything else you do. You're more likely to eat better, work harder, stay focused, and follow through on commitments because you've already won the most personal and private battle of the day. The beauty of morning discipline is that it strengthens your willpower when it's at its highest. In the early hours, the world is quiet. Your mind is less cluttered with distractions. This is the perfect time to train your discipline because it's pure decision making without external pressure. No one's texting you. No one's demanding your attention. It's just you and your commitment. And every time you choose discipline in those moments, you're fortifying a mental structure that will hold you steady when life gets chaotic. People often underestimate the power of this simple act. They think discipline only matters in big decisions like career moves or financial risks. But the truth is, discipline is built in the small, consistent, often unseen moments. Waking up early is one of those moments. It's not about the hour itself. It's about the control you assert over your impulses. When your alarm goes off and your body says, no, and you still rise, you're teaching your brain that your commitments are non-negotiable. That lesson echoes through every part of your life. Morning discipline also rewires how you see yourself. Each early morning is a promise kept. And when you keep promises to yourself, you build self-respect. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who does. That identity shift is life, changing because your behavior always follows your beliefs. If you believe you're someone who keeps their word, your actions will align with that belief. Waking up early is one of the clearest ways to cultivate that self-trust. The resistance you feel in the morning is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of growth. Just like a muscle burns when you train it, your mind resists when you stretch it. Every time you push through that resistance, your mental muscle gets stronger. Over time, what used to feel difficult becomes automatic. Discipline transforms from something forced into something natural. Waking up early stops being a struggle and starts being your standard. Another powerful element of morning discipline is how it prepares you for unexpected challenges. Life rarely goes as planned. There will always be obstacles, distractions, and disruptions. But if you've trained your mind to wake up early no matter what, you've already built the mental toughness to handle adversity. You've practiced doing what's uncomfortable daily. So when bigger challenges arise, you're not intimidated. You're ready. Your mind knows how to push through resistance because you've done it every morning. This discipline also extends into how you manage your time. When you wake up early consistently, you become more intentional about your schedule. You stop wasting precious hours on mindless activities. You start prioritizing what matters. The act of waking early is a statement that your time is valuable, that you won't let comfort dictate your destiny. It sets a tone of seriousness and purpose for the rest of the day. Some people believe discipline is restrictive, but in truth, it's the ultimate form of freedom. When you have control over your mind, you are no longer a prisoner to moods, procrastination, or laziness. You choose your actions with clarity. Waking up early gives you that power every single day. It liberates you from the cycle of excuses. It reminds you that you are capable of more than your comfort zone allows. As the weeks and months go by, this consistent morning discipline creates a compounding effect. Your productivity increases. Your confidence grows. Your mental clarity sharpens. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. Discipline doesn't happen overnight. It's forged through repeated action. And waking up early is one of the most effective ways to practice that repetition daily. Think about the alternative. Imagine continuing to hit snooze every morning, giving in to excuses, starting each day in a fog of delay. What message does that send to your mind? It tells you that your goals can wait, that comfort is more important than growth, that your words mean less than your impulses. Over time, that creates a subtle erosion of confidence. But when you rise early, no matter how small that action may seem, you're reinforcing a different message that your word matters, that your goals are non-negotiable, that you lead, not follow. Morning discipline also improves emotional regulation. When you train yourself to act against the pull of comfort, you're also training yourself to remain calm under stress. You become less reactive to discomfort in other areas of life. Your ability to focus deepens, your patience expands, and your resilience grows. This mental fortitude spills into your work, your relationships, and your ability to face adversity with strength. There will be days when getting up early feels almost impossible. Maybe you're tired, maybe your mind is heavy, maybe everything in you says, stay in bed. Those are the most important days to get up, because those are the days when discipline is truly tested. Anyone can act when it's easy, but those who rise when it's hard are the ones who build unshakable strength. Every difficult morning you conquer adds another layer of power to your character. With consistent practice, waking up early transforms from a habit into a way of life. It becomes part of who you are. It's no longer something you debate, it's something you do. And that kind of discipline radiates into everything else. It shows in how you approach your goals, how you handle challenges, and how you lead yourself. It becomes your competitive edge, not against others, but against your old self. In the end, discipline is not about punishing yourself. It's about respecting yourself enough to keep your commitments. It's about proving to yourself every day that you are stronger than your excuses. Waking up early is a simple, powerful, daily way to build that strength. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. Every morning you rise, you sharpen your mind, you reinforce your will, and you step closer to becoming the person you were meant to be. The morning is not just the start of a day, it's the training ground for your future. And every time you conquer that first decision, you're building a mind that leads with clarity, power, and purpose. Discipline in the morning is discipline in life. It's the unseen work that creates visible results. And it all starts with that single, quiet decision when the alarm rings to rise, to act, to lead. There's something profoundly powerful about the quiet hours of the morning, before the world wakes up, when the air is still and everything is calm. There's a kind of clarity that can't be found at any other time. This is the space where distractions fade, where your thoughts are pure, and where your mind has room to breathe. It's not just silence, it's power. When you rise early and use this time intentionally, you access a level of focus, creativity, and inner strength that sets the tone for the entire day. In these early moments, your mind is like a clear lake. The chaos of the day hasn't stirred the water yet, and you can see to the bottom. It's in this stillness that your best ideas emerge, your priorities become sharp, and your energy aligns with your goals. The modern world is loud. Notifications, messages, responsibilities, traffic, social media, constant noise. It all begins to hit the moment most people wake up. If you start your day at the same time the world starts bombarding you, you spend the rest of the day reacting rather than creating. But if you rise before all of that, you give yourself the priceless gift of uninterrupted mental space. It's in that space that you can plan your day with intention, not panic. You can reflect on what matters most rather than being swept up in what matters to everyone else. These quiet hours are where clarity is found, and clarity is one of the most powerful forces in life because when you're clear, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter. When you wake up early and sit in that silence, your mind slows down. You can hear your thoughts without them being drowned out by the noise of the world. You can think about your goals, your direction, and your purpose. You can map out the day, not just in terms of tasks, but in terms of how you want to show up. This is where true productivity begins, not with frantic action, but with focused intention. The quiet morning hours are like a strategic meeting with yourself. You're not distracted by anyone else's agenda. It's just you, your thoughts, and the direction you want your life to go. These early hours are also a time when creativity flourishes. The mind in the morning is rested and open. You're not yet burdened by decisions, stress, or the fatigue that builds as the day goes on. Great writers, thinkers, inventors, and leaders throughout history have spoken about how their most inspired ideas came in the early hours of the morning. That's not a coincidence. In silence, your brain can make connections it wouldn't make in chaos. Problems that seemed complicated yesterday suddenly have simple solutions. Ideas that felt out of reach suddenly click. When the noise is turned down, your intuition gets louder, and that's where breakthroughs happen. Using the early hours wisely also gives you the opportunity to work on yourself before the world demands you work for it. Whether it's reading, journaling, visualizing, meditating, exercising, or simply sitting with a cup of tea and thinking deeply, this is the time when you invest in yourself without interruptions. Once the day starts, other people's needs will begin to pull at you. Work will demand attention. Messages will flood in. Life will happen. But if you've already spent that quiet time nurturing your mind, body, and spirit, you walk into the day centered and strong. You're not scrambling to catch up. You're leading from a place of clarity and power. Think about how different it feels to start your day in silence compared to starting it in chaos. Imagine two people. One wakes up late, jumps out of bed, checks their phone, scrolls through social media, rushes to get ready, eats while standing, and dashes out the door already feeling behind. The other wakes up early, sits in silence, reads something meaningful, plans their day, takes time for their body, and sets their intentions. Who do you think will think more clearly, act more decisively, and handle challenges with strength? The difference isn't talent. It's the way they use the quiet hours. The early morning gives you space to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. During the hustle of the day, it's easy to get lost in the details, to get caught up in small tasks and lose sight of your purpose. But in the morning, you can step back and ask, where am I going? What truly matters today? What actions will move me closer to my vision? This reflection is what keeps you aligned. Without it, you can spend entire days, weeks, even months being busy but not moving forward. The quiet morning hours act as a compass, pointing you toward your true direction before distractions lead you astray. There's also an emotional stability that comes from beginning the day in silence. When you give yourself space to breathe and think before everything else, you create a buffer between your mind and the world. Instead of being thrown into a storm of reactions, you step into the day with calm strength. This calmness is powerful because it allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. It helps you handle stress more effectively because your mind isn't already overloaded. This is how clarity translates into power, not just mental power, but emotional control. The morning silence also deepens your connection with yourself. Many people go through life disconnected from their own thoughts and feelings because they're constantly distracted. They move from one task to the next without pausing to listen to what's happening inside. But when you wake up early and embrace the quiet, you begin to hear that inner voice again. You understand your own fears, desires, and values more clearly. You stop drifting through life and start steering it. That connection with yourself is essential because it gives you the confidence and direction to face the world without losing yourself in it. Another overlooked benefit of these quiet hours is the quality of work you can achieve. Tasks that take hours to complete during the day can often be accomplished in a fraction of the time in the early morning because there are no distractions. Your brain works faster, your focus is deeper, and your output is higher. That means if you dedicate this time to meaningful work, you can achieve more before most people have even started their day. This creates an incredible sense of progress and empowerment. By the time others are just waking up, you've already created value, moved closer to your goals, and strengthened your discipline. Using quiet hours for self-development and productivity isn't just about doing more, it's about being more deliberate. It's about designing your life instead of drifting through it. When you wake up early and use the silence intentionally, you send a message to yourself. My growth matters. My time matters. My clarity matters. This mindset shapes how you move through the rest of the day. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. There's also a spiritual element to these early hours. Whether you believe in a higher power or simply the power of your inner self, the quiet morning has a way of making you feel connected to something greater. It's a moment where the world feels vast yet peaceful, where you can reflect on your place in it with humility and strength. This perspective grounds you. It reminds you that life isn't just about rushing from task to task. It's about living with purpose, awareness, and depth. These moments of reflection can ignite a deeper sense of motivation that no external stimulus can provide. For many people, the challenge is not understanding the value of quiet hours, but actually using them. It's easy to wake up early and waste the time on aimless scrolling or unproductive routines. That's why intention is everything. If you decide that your early hours are sacred, that they're your time to sharpen your mind, fuel your spirit, and set your direction, they become incredibly powerful. You must treat them as non-negotiable. They are not extra hours, they are your foundation. Over weeks and months, using the quiet morning intentionally creates profound change. You become more focused, more emotionally stable, more productive, and more connected to your purpose. You start making decisions with clarity rather than confusion. You stop rushing through life and begin to lead it with deliberate action. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it happens consistently through the discipline of embracing silence daily. The world will always be noisy. It will always try to pull your attention in 100 directions. But those who learn to harness the quiet hours of the morning give themselves a secret weapon. While others wake up and immediately get swept up in the current, you've already set your direction. While others are lost in distraction, you're building clarity. While others are reacting, you're creating. And that difference compounds over time into extraordinary results. When you rise early and step into that peaceful, focused space, You're not just starting your day, you're shaping your destiny. You're giving yourself the clarity and power that so many spend their entire lives searching for in the wrong places. It's not out there in the noise. It's right here in the quiet, waiting for you every single morning. And when you consistently show up in that silence, day after day, you become unstoppable.